Hi knitters, welcome to episode 64 of the Knitty McPurly podcast. I am Devin. You can find me online at knittymcpurly.com, on Instagram as Knitty McPurly, and if you want to get in touch with me, I am Devin at knittymcpurly.com. This is the week, you guys, that we've all been waiting for, the retreat information. Just to catch you up, because I have a lot of new people, a couple of months ago, I always say we were talking because I feel like I talked about it and then you guys commented and it feels like a conversation. We were talking about how there's kind of an elitism in the knitting community where you go to these retreats that cost $1 million and all of the famous people hang out together and all of the rest of the people kind of hang out together, and I don't know. We expressed a collective dissatisfaction with the situation. And the Knitty McPurly non-elite retreat was born. So basically I had this idea, and a lot of you gave me amazing suggestions, to do a retreat that everyone pays to come to, including the people who will be instructors and vendors. And if you want to teach something, that's on a volunteer basis. You can vend if you want to, and it would just be fun. It would be not too expensive and a fun knitting weekend away with nice people. And so that's happening. The dates are, as I said last time, January 26th through 29th of 2023. Not this January, 1 year from now. And the location is in Junaluska, North Carolina. It is Lake Junaluska, which is a nonprofit hotel that was started by the Methodist Church. They do a lot of religious retreats, but they do a lot of, regular people retreats like us. They have had quilting groups there before. They've had all sorts of groups there before. But the reason I picked them, there are a couple of reasons. Love the location. It's in North Carolina. It is in the mountains. There's a big lake there. It's beautiful. It is a nonprofit, and so it is very affordable. I looked at a bunch of places in Southern Virginia and North Carolina that were over the moon crazy expensive. That's not the right word. Crazy expensive. Crazy expensive. And I was just like, thank you, it's just not a good fit for us. Like I want it to be available to a lot of people, not just people who have money to burn. I don't have money to burn. Probably you don't either. So I just wanted it to be affordable for everybody. And it is. And the third reason is because they were the most delightful people that I talked to. I talked to a lot of people at a lot of places, and some people were nice, but when they found out I was on a budget, or they just weren't that interested in me. I was not that interesting to them. But these people really pursued me, and I was just like, I loved it. It made me happy. And they've been so nice through the whole process. And I signed the contract. That was a big deal because I am the gas pedal in my marriage and my husband is the brake. And I think most marriages work well when one person's the gas pedal and one person's the brake, because you need both. So I would have done this weeks ago, but because he slowed me down, we've been through every little bit of the contract. I have special event insurance, things like that. So there's a lot to event planning, apparently, I guess. I'm learning. So anyway, the registration is going to open for this retreat on Sunday. Today is Friday, I don't know, 13th? It's not Friday the 13th, is it? 12th? I don't know. Maybe it is. I can't remember. Anyway, today's Friday. Sunday is the 16th. It's the 14th. Sunday's the 16th. On Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, I picked a time where I thought most people would be available and, be able to sign up. I have no idea how people will respond to this. I got a lot of interest. But it's a weekend, there's travel involved. I don't know how quickly it will go. I added extra spots. I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to give you all the information on this retreat sign up so that you will have it. If you got my newsletter, you've already received that, and I'm going to send it out again. So if you want to go sign up for the newsletter and you want to have it in your inbox, I will send out the information again, probably on Saturday, and then Sunday is the sign up. So like I said, it's Thursday, January 26th through Sunday, January 29th, 2023. There are 3 steps to registering. Before I get to that, some questions that I had. Some people asked about vaccines. There will be no vaccine mandate. No one will be asked about their vaccine status. So, if that's okay with you, that's the situation. And I have had people reach out to me and say, I don't know, I don't want to be in a room with people that I don't know their vaccine status. So just so you know, if you feel that way, we're not going to be asking anybody to reveal their vaccine status. You do you on that one. With regard to masks, I would never require masks. If it should happen that 1 year from now, the governor of North Carolina mandates masks, then we would have to wear masks when people are looking. But I would never mandate them. That said, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. No judgment. You do whatever you want. With vaccines and masks, you get total freedom to do whatever you want. One thing I did not mention in the newsletter, because I forgot, is that there is also tax on the hotel room when you go to book it. So I'll get to that in just a sec. I've got it in front of me and I want to make sure I get it all correct. So step 1 to register for this retreat is on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Go to my website, knittingmcpurly.com, and right at the very, very first page will be a link for the registration. Click on that. It costs $100 to register. This is a non-refundable down payment on the retreat because I have non-refundable deposits, big ones that I have to put down for this retreat. Now that said, if for some reason, closer to the time, something comes up and you can't make the retreat, I will do everything I can to get you your money back. I just can't guarantee it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if I can give you your money back, I absolutely will, but I can't promise it. So $100 is due now. This registration secures your spot. Another $250 payment will be due on June 1st. So that gives you a couple months to kind of plan that out. This fee, that $350 that you are paying to me, covers all of your meals, taxes, catering, snacks, drinks, gratuities, group room rental, insurance, and swag. So it's actually a pretty good deal, I think. It really worked out that we could do all that stuff for this amount of money because this place is so great. So when you register, if you want to have a roommate and you don't know your roommate, like if you need a roommate but you don't already have one picked, you want me to pick one for you, I can totally do that. In the comments section, write down if you need a roommate. If you want to tell me what you're doing, like if you're bringing your husband, or if you are going to room with somebody and you've already decided that and the two of you are going to get your room together, feel free to tell me about that. Do you want to lead a class on a volunteer basis? Some people I have already asked. I don't know if they will be able to come because like I said, it's not I'm paying you. It's we're all in it together. I just booked my hotel room and I had to pay for that, and that's great. I'm very happy to do that because that's what this is. So if you're interested in leading a class on a volunteer basis and tell me what it is, that would be amazing. And you can always reach out to me later if you come up with that later. Do you want to be a vendor? There is no extra fee if you want to be a vendor. There's room for a good number of us. So, the first however many people is how many that will be able to fit. But I have a feeling pretty much we'll be able to fit people who want to do it. Are you within driving distance and are interested in carpooling? Maybe we can get this together. Now, hold on. It's so much stuff. Okay. Do you have any special dietary needs? Because those can be accommodated if you're a vegetarian or if you're gluten-free or, kind of run-of-the-mill things like that, they can totally do. Or if you have any disabilities that require a special room. This is an historic hotel, and so they have narrow doorways, and so a wheelchair could be problematic, but if that's your situation, let me know, and I will see what we can do about it. Now, I said to put that stuff in the comments, and that would be good information for me to have. However, I have also started a Google group where everyone who has registered can get in on this group and we can all chat together about, what we're bringing and whatever we want to talk about. You can meet your roommates or whatever. So after you sign up, my husband set up the Google group for me. After you sign up, you will get an invitation for the Google group within 24 hours. And then you can join and, we can all chat together. I hope I'm not going through this too fast. I am so excited. I've been compiling this information for weeks and I have just been busting to tell it to you. So, okay, all that stuff I talked about, if you just could leave it in the comments, do you know what I would do if it were me? I would type it out beforehand and then just cut and paste it into the comments so that it's easy on Sunday at 4. But that's just me. Okay, if you're interested in vending, tables will be available, but that's about it. So if you need anything else, you're gonna have to bring it. My husband is coming. He decided he wanted to come. So if you wanna bring your husband, I had a couple people ask me this. The husbands may get together and do stuff, I don't know. But if you wanna bring your husband, you can book a room for the two of you. And I booked our room yesterday and I was looking at the choices and there's a couple different choices of different rooms with 2 queen beds. Some had a lake view, some didn't specify a lake view, so I presume that they didn't have one. And some had a king bed, but no lake view. And I was like, okay, which one, view or bed? And he was like, bed. So we got one with the king bed. Which is good because if people are coming and they want roommates, you're gonna want your own bed. You're gonna want a queen bed. So, but what we're gonna do is we haven't fully decided on this, but we went ahead and got our own room and the taxes on one room for 3 nights was about $40. So if you're sharing with somebody, it'd be about $20 each. Just so you know, because it's $119 a night for a room of either 1 or 2 people in it. So you can split that if you have a roommate. And there is tax on that I forgot to include. It's about $40. It's not too bad. Anyway, my husband, I think, is going to go do his own thing during the day. So he is not going to buy a meal plan, I'm not going to sign him up on my website for the meals and the swag and all that stuff because he just is not interested in doing that. He's just going to come with me and he'll probably have oatmeal in our room in the morning for breakfast, and then he'll go out for lunch and dinner, and that'll be fun for him. Maybe some of the other guys would like to do that too. Now I say that, but my husband is not like a social butterfly. He is the salt of the earth. He's a totally wonderful guy. But he's not super social. Anyway, I can't wait for you guys to meet him. That's going to be really fun. So this brings me to step 2. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 1 is sign up on my website. Once you're done with that, there is a link there, and I will also send it out to my newsletter subscribers. It's a special link to book your room at the hotel. Now, if you want to bring your husband and he wants to eat with us, go ahead and buy 2. Gosh, I'm going all over the place. I feel like I'm going to need to go back and edit this. I'm backing up a little bit to step 1. Step 1, when you're registering, if you're bringing your husband and he wants to eat with us and hang out with us during the day, get 2 registrations, one for you and one for him. If he doesn't want to, if he just wants to stay at the hotel and then go do his own thing during the day and he wants to, food on his own, that's fine. You don't need to buy him a registration. Does that make sense? I hope that's clear. Please ask me if I said anything unclear. If you have a husband in your room, or you know who your roommate will be, or you want a room to yourself, then go on to step 2 and you can go book your room. If you need a roommate, first get a roommate and decide how you two are going to split the cost of the room. Maybe if one person goes in and buys it and the other person sends them a check, that's probably the easiest way. Or PayPal or whatever. Do people still send checks? So that only one person goes in to book the room. The hotel has requested that even if people are sharing a room, if only one person could book it and then they could, share the cost together, that would be great. Okay, so that brings us to step 2. So you will have a special link to book your room. Don't go through the main site because you want to get the group rate in with the group. So your options are, like I said, there's rooms with 2 queens, there's rooms with 1 king. Some have a lake view, some don't specify a view, and they all basically have the same kind of thing, like Wi-Fi and TV and a coffee maker and stuff like that, usual hotel room stuff. Now, the cost of this is separate from the step 1 cost. The $350 is for that other stuff that I just listed, all the food and all that. Step 2 is booking your room, and the cost is $119 per night plus tax, $40 total tax. So, I think did I take a picture of that? I did, but I don't have it with me. I took a picture of my bill where it was like 119 times 3 plus like $39. So do that in your head or work that out somewhere. It was like $400, I think, ish. Is that about right? Yeah, it was about $400 for the 3 nights. And that's because I'm sharing it with my husband. So if you have a roommate, the whole weekend will cost you about $550. If you don't have a roommate or you're bringing your husband, it costs about $750. Either way, it's super affordable. Probably if you're coming from a distance, the most expensive part is going to be your travel. So there's that. So if you're sharing with a roommate, the cost is $59.50 per night, which is really, really good. Okay. What else? Okay, step 3 is to book your travel. You can do that whenever you want. If you are local and you live nearby, which I've heard from some people who want to come, but they're local, only do step 1. That's it, you're done. You don't need a room to stay in. You don't need to have travel accommodations. The closest airport is the Asheville airport, and there is transportation available to and from in the form of like a limousine. I'm not exactly sure what that means. It's a kind of shuttle, I guess, that is probably costs money. I don't know how much it costs. Alternatively, if we can get people together, we may be able to do some carpooling. I'm going to be driving. It's almost 7 hours of driving for me to get there. And so I will have my car. It's going to be loaded up with stuff though. Oh my gosh, we're going to bring our biggest car and just put all the seats flat and load it up. Okay, check-in is at 4 p.m. on Thursday and check out is at 11 a.m. on Sunday. There's no smoking indoors. Quiet hours are from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. And if you need to cancel, I will do everything in my power to find someone to buy your ticket or to give you your money back. As if it is in my power to do that, I will do it, but I can't promise it. I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. What else did I want to say about that? Alcohol. So I asked about bar service or alcohol service. And what they basically told me is they do not serve it there. I guess they're a group of more conservative Christians who don't serve alcohol. But if we wanted to bring some and serve it, either beer or wine, not spirits, then we could do that. I personally do not drink. not out of any conviction. I just really, really like to drink. And so it's better for me if I don't. But I'm open to having like a wine night if you want. That is built into your price. I can totally do that if you guys want it, if you want it. So leave me a comment. Do you think we should have wine? Do you think we should just do bottled water and hot chocolate? It's up to you. Let me know what you think, and we'll probably, I don't know, maybe we'll talk about that on the Google group too. We'll see what people want to do there, but I'm totally open to that idea. We're allowed to do that. When you sign up for your hotel room, it says no alcohol, but what I just described is allowed. We talked about it at length, and so that's totally something that we can do if we want to. Okay, so that's the retreat this Sunday, 4 o'clock. Set your alarms if you're interested. Like I said, sometimes these things sell out like that, and sometimes, they take their time. I don't know what will happen, but if it were me, I would do it right away, right at 4. I have a lot of slots open. I opened a lot of extra for husbands because I don't want you to feel bad. Some people said, I don't want my husband to take up a spot. So I added a bunch of extra spots in case you want to bring a husband and just for extra people that we can fit easily and still be comfortable and, have a good time. So that is the retreat. Next up is our word of the week. Word of the week this week is cardigan. So cardigans have been around a long time, but gosh, it's so hard for me to like transition. Okay. Cardigans. Cardigans have been around a long time, but they have only been called cardigans since about 1862, when the 7th Earl of Cardigan, which is a county in Wales, whose name was James Thomas Brudenell, was very sartorially savvy, and he made it famous in the Crimean War by wearing a knitted wool vest split down the front. And there was a poem written about him by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Now that was one source that I found about the cardigan, but this one, it puts it forth a little bit differently. I thought this was really interesting. The cardigan was named after James Brudenell, 7th Earl of Cardigan, a British Army Major General who led the charge of the Light Brigade at the Battle of Balaclava. Everything comes from the British. During the Crimean War. It is modeled after the knitted wool waistcoat that the British officers supposedly wore during the war. So this makes it sound like they all wore it, but this guy was the most famous and he got the poem by Tennyson. And so that's how it became. So the legend of the event and the fame that Lord Cardigan achieved led to the rise in the garment's popularity. Supposedly, he invented the cardigan after noticing that the tails of his coat had accidentally been burned off in the fireplace. That sounds apocryphal to me. I don't think that happened. That sounds made up. But anyway, that's where we get the cardigan. So it existed before, but we've only called it a cardigan since 1862. But it's very recently that it has become a lot more popular. Coco Chanel is credited with popularizing cardigans for women because she hated how tight-necked men's sweaters messed up her hair when she pulled them over her head. Fair enough, Coco. The garment is mostly associated with the college culture of the Roaring Twenties and the early 1930s, but it was also popular in the 50s, the 70s, and the 90s. Interesting, odd decades. And it also regained popularity in the 2010s. I personally have always loved cardigans, as I am wearing my Potomac worsted cardigan right now. Whoop. With its pockets. Now this is not meant to close, it's meant to be open. And I have a pattern for this sweater in a fingering weight yarn and a worsted weight yarn. The regular Potomac is fingering weight and the Potomac worsted is obviously worsted weight. Okay, so the cardigan thing led me down a rabbit hole about the sandwich because as we all know, everyone knows that the sandwich is named after the Earl of Sandwich, actually the fourth Earl of Sandwich, which I learned in my research. Because I wanted to know, I was surprised that cardigan was such a recent word from 1862, but ironically, sandwich was 1762. It was only 100 years before that. So the story goes, obviously, as you all know, that he liked to eat his meat between two pieces of bread. So that's where we got the sandwich. Interesting. And the balaclava, maybe that's going to be the word next week, because my guess is that during the Crimean War, they came up with this thing that covered your head and your face and just had your eyes out. Just guessing. Okay, this week's topic. So I have something written down here, but I think I might save it because I've been thinking about improvisation, because I'm working on our Lent Mystery Knit Along shawl right now. And I sometimes find that I don't have the stitch count I'm supposed to have. All knitting patterns are based on math, and you do the math and you do a certain number of repeats and increases and you have the right amount of stitches. But as we all know, in the real world of knitting, so at some point you're not paying attention and you forgot to increase, or you increase 2 rows in a row, or whatever. For some reason, you don't have the right number of stitches. What do you do? So, some people would fix it. And I find that that is a very arduous, unless you're just, I don't have enough, I need to add a few more rows. If you're ripping back to fix it, I'm just not open to that. So the problem is not with the pattern. The problem is with me. As usual, I am the problem, the knitter. And when I find that I have extra stitches, I just improvise. I don't want to give away too much, but I feel like I already kind of mentioned that there'd be some lace in the shawl. In these lace sections, if I find that I have a couple extra stitches, I just improvise and I just kind of make it look like it was supposed to be like that. What do you think? Improvise or rip back? If you've seen that movie Ratatouille, that one part where the French chef goes, "You're improvising?" We say that all the time in my house. We quote that movie a lot. It's a very quotable movie. But improvisation is kind of where I live. I cook very improvisationally. I knit very improvisationally. I just am like, well, what can I do here to keep with the shape? Like, for example, if you are increasing on a regular basis, you want to continue that so you don't mess with your shape. You can improvise, and you guys, you know what I'm talking about. You can improvise within boundaries, I guess. It's like you've got these guardrails and you can improvise within them. And that's what I'm talking about. Improvising the lace within the guardrails of the shape that you're creating with the shawl. It's just a thought. I'll talk about what I have written down next week. Okay, Knitting Fantasies, yay! Last week I forgot the Knitting Fantasies, so I'm very happy to say that this segment is back. So I was looking for knitting patterns and I started out on allfreeknitting.com. And the reason I didn't stay there is a couple of reasons. Number one, there's a ton of ads, which makes sense. You got to pay for it somehow, right? Allfreeknitting.com costs you in looking at ads. And I didn't love a lot of the patterns on there. I felt like there was a lot of very simple patterns. I wanted ones that were more interesting or artsy or modern. I don't know. You can only see so many crocheted baby blankets out of red heart yarn, and you're just like, it's enough. So what I ended up doing was going on Ravelry and finding free patterns. So I have 3 picks for you today, all from Ravelry, all completely free. My first pick is the Duckling Sweater by Claudia Q. This is a fingering weight sweater, and it is available in sizes from newborn to 4 years. Now, I'm not sure how many sizes there are, but what it said was newborn to 4 years. So presumably there's a couple of sizes in there. You could go look it up if you're interested. There are kits available from uknit, E-W-E, knit.com. And if you don't want the kits, if you just want to use what's in your stash, you can go pick up that pattern for free. My second pick is by my all-time favorite designer, Isabel Kramer, and it is the Jelka hat. This is a worsted weight mosaic knit hat that comes in 3 sizes. I'm not sure what the 3 sizes are, presumably small, medium, and large, just guessing. But the one that she made is so cute, and it has her kind of signature styling on it. But I love this hat. I would totally make it. It's just beautiful, so pretty. My third pick is the Turtle Dove 2 by Espace Tricot. And this is a take on the original Turtle Dove sweater, which I believe was knit out of bulky weight. Now this one is not far off that. It's Aran weight. I would think that they would have maybe done a DK or a fingering weight, and maybe they have, and I don't know about it, but this one is an Aran weight. It comes in 8 sizes, and it's in English, French, and Italian. So I think Espace Tricot is banking on you buying their expensive yarn because they put some money into making this pattern. But it's great. I mean, I know people have knit the Turtle Dove and really like it. It's a really pretty pattern. So you can go pick up any of those 3 patterns for free on Ravelry. And that brings me to, so here's what happened. Today's knitting story comes from Deb Everett, and she sends this story from Canada. She says, I'm a Canadian from Fredericton, New Brunswick, and a retired ordained Baptist hospital teaching chaplain. When I returned from a 5-month sabbatical to Scotland in 2000, I knit these, and I'm going to put up some pictures right here, to wear over my clergy robes when I was invited to preach at my home church, First Baptist Church in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, where I lived and worked for over 2 decades. In Scotland, I discovered my Celtic ancestry connections and Celtic spirituality, and I've been an avid knitter since my first son Luke was born in 1972. So basically, Deb knit these stoles? Yes, 20 years ago that she wore for preaching in her church, First Baptist Church in Edmonton, Alberta. So cool, neat. I've never seen knitted stoles before. Those are really, really nice. Thank you so much, Deb, for sharing that story. If you have a knitting story that you would like to share, send it to me. Send me an email, send me a DM. You can take a video, you can write it out and I'll read it for you. You can do an audio recording if you want, whatever. I love hearing other people's stories. It's so much fun. And as we heard last week from my amazing listener and writer-inner, Cheryl Lee, this is our oral tradition and we need to keep it up. So let's keep up our oral tradition. Send me your stories and I would love to have them on the podcast. Okay, I think that's all, you guys. I had nothing to show today. And I had no interruptions. I don't know how that's possible. How is that possible? Where is everybody? But put the retreat on your calendar if you want to sign up. Can't wait to see which of you are coming. I'm so excited. It's going to be so great. Yeah, can't wait. Okay, knitters, have a great week. I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, knitters. Welcome to episode 65